Hey, we're here. It's Aaron Live.
It's close, though.
It's September 19th, 2021. It's right there.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
It's right there. I always have to look there because I have no idea.
I have no idea what day it is.
You know, you see the shirt?
Yeah.
You know where I got that, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cologne.
Cologne, it's Germany, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in Germany and I got a shirt.
Yeah, because we ran out of clothing, I think. No, not at that point.
What?
You had to buy a shirt for some reason.
Well, no, we were having
laundry.
We were having, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
You are wrong. You had to buy a shirt.
I know, because we had
spit it out, little Rusty.
We did not have any way to do laundry, and I was out of shirts, so I bought the shirt. That's what it was.
Right. Hi, leg kick.
I don't know where we did laundry in.
Jeffrey.
What?
Hi, Shelley. Shelley's husband. He's banking him up. Oh, scroll. Find it.
Just want to get out of the gate, quickly. And oh, look.
What?
Leg kick is here because leg kick is always here.
We like
Bill
it.
Maxwell's here. JP Roca. We should just call him Almond Roca, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Let's
see. What's up?
Mike Nehring says, hey, hello, Presties. How about that? Thank you. Angelo Caranco. Hello, Presties.
Hey.
Hi, hey, oh, we already did that. I'm not going to give him another one. Here we go. This is kind of exciting. Congrats over 90K. How about
that was crazy.
We had a huge false,
really big
closing stream.
Well, it was I said closing of the 30 days. I didn't want to say what happens next. So what happens next?
Well, I at the last minute, I extended for another 15 days.
Oh,
because they say that there's a sweet spot between the 30 and 45 days. That's the length. Anything beyond that is,
was it a good one?
Kind of superfluous.
I didn't watch.
I can't remember.
Nor was I in the room.
I was getting tired.
Sorry, it was really bad day. Headache.
I fell asleep, I think, one time during the.
I did hear you say, "Oh, we're really tired because we're old" or something like that.
Well, somebody in the chat would say, "I'm really moved by Aaron's excitement," because I was just,
we're
it was
old. We can't stay up late.
And it was only 10:30 my time. It was like 1:30, on the East Coast, and so everybody else on the stream was on the East Coast, and I'm just like,
look at this.
So anyway,
look at this.
Yeah.
If I can do it. Oh, sorry.
Push a button, Shelley.
There we go. Woo!
How about that?
Never considered us that, but thanks.
We're a power couple for sure.
Oh yeah.
What happens next? This campaign goes to 6 figures. That's what happens next.
He'll do the happy dance.
Yes. Yeah. No, actually, I just contacted. I contacted the secret artist friend of mine, who's a behind-the-scenes supporter of what we're doing, and
do I know?
To do well, no, you don't know him personally.
See, he doesn't tell me stuff because maybe I'm keep secrets poorly.
Blah 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 all over the internet.
Oh, you better go to commercial. Better go to commercial.
Okay. Well,
wait, I gotta warm up first.
You're gonna get your.
I don't want to thrash him. I hurt myself. Gotta warm up.
That's right. You just gotta get that shoulder moving.
Here we go.
So we'll just go to a quick commercial break here.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get our.
Okay, that's enough of that.
What do you got for snacks?
Mountain, this wasn't what I was going to get, but
what were you going to get?
I wanted, okay. So every Halloween, there's a dog down here. Every Halloween, they re-release Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry. And I was going to get a box of Count Chocula, but they didn't have it.
But we have that one.
Store over there.
Oh, do we not have that one?
That's a toy. The Frankenfat? It's a toy. I just haven't taken it out of the box. There's no cereal.
There's no cereal. That's a bummer.
So anyway, so I got this, and then I thought, you know what? October is really when we should have Count Chocula.
we're getting close.
Yeah, so we're not there yet. So I went with the mountain mix.
Awesome.
Which purports to be healthy, but really it's just a bunch of M&Ms and nuts. So.
Well, you eat the nuts, I'll eat the M&Ms.
And raisins.
That's a good deal. Husker, what's your boo-boos?
Dog is crawling all over me.
Boom. Wow.
Oh.
It's going to be a chilly night in the little Presty house. Nope, not without no AC.
No.
Still. We got to call tomorrow.
I know, I keep forgetting.
Okay.
Because I don't want to spend the money. But
I know.
Anyway, so I have an artist friend of mine.
Just tell me.
Very, very.
Just tell me. I don't know who that is.
I know you don't.
I know who that is. So.
Who I'm having do an interior thing in pin up for, but it's for a specific reason in the book. Once we get to 100K. See, I got to pay him to do it.
Very cryptic. Very cryptic.
So I don't know if I'm going to release his name. Only the people that get the book will know.
Jeff has a good question for you.
Oh, sorry. You know, Aaron, they have M&Ms with nuts already in them, right? Yeah. Is that?
I like it.
Yeah. Well, that's.
What are you looking for?
That's what I'm looking for. What do you think I'm looking for?
Oh, yeah. Hi, someone hijacked.
Can you give us a hint on who the artist is?
Oh, no.
No. Account, so I haven't been able to log on for a while.
Well, thanks.
Can I get a slap to make up for the weeks that I've missed? Angela, I would love to slap you, but you're going to have to say something that
Gotta earn it, my friend. As I'm digging into the.
Yeah, that's right. The artist's name is Alan Smithy. Shelley doesn't get that. That's when film directors, when they want to take their name off the film because it sucks so bad, that they would use the name Alan Smithy.
I get it. Okay.
As director.
That's a good one.
I'd rather see you hit 10K backers rather than worry about the dollar figures. I'm the same way. As I've often said, the money is important because it actually pays for the project.
Oh, we got to pay some bills.
But you want the widest readership possible. And sort of what's happened with the campaign now is that we're sort of running out of stuff. We're sold out of stuff that I never thought we'd sell out of.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like the Garbage Man trade paperbacks and the Power Cube trade paperbacks. And pretty soon I'm going to have to cut off the hardcover sketchbooks, which is just amazing to me. Yeah. So the only thing that's going to be left is the comic book. So hopefully during the in-demand, I can't even get through a sentence. I'll read it in a second. So hopefully we get through when we go through the last 2 weeks here in the in-demand, it'll be just people buying the comic. And so we'll get more readership.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So what am I supposed to read now? That's so hilarious.
Down.
Here?
Down. That.
Okay. Then wake me up when Shelley talks.
Oh, I don't know.
It didn't take you long.
I'm not at my best. Cut me off again.
Yeah, well, that's what
better
we do.
Than yesterday.
That's what we do. I want to get Angela got 2 for that one.
A twofer.
Oh,
that's so funny.
Okay, so
what currently
was this currently number 2 on trending? Well, I had we made like we brought in like
what
over.
You're just talking crazy now.
No, because there was like we made like over $6,000 over there last
13. Whoa, you're right. Holy cow.
1,300 backers. You know how many packages we're gonna have to ship?
You know what? I was thinking about that earlier today going, I'm going to hear that sound of tape pulling, which I hate. Like, I hate it. So, yeah. Ow.
Oh.
Yeah. Whoa.
Hey, that's CA. I thought that was California 10, but it's Canadian $10. Hey, thank you very much, Randy. Hey, we're going to get a super secret bonus at 90K, and now we're hearing about a secret artist pinup page. Coincidence?
Ooh.
No, because I moved things around. The secret bonus at 90K was because I had no idea what I was going to do. So I had to put secret bonus, and I figured I'd figured it out. But what I figured out was that I wanted to expand my sticker set. And I wanted to bring in a couple guest artists like David Williams and Mike Miller and David. Some other, perhaps another one. Who else? And Mike Miller.
Okay, I like him too.
You know, Revolution.
Yeah, Viva la Revolution.
That to contribute to the sticker set. So that's what's happening at 90K. And then, and then at 100K, we're going to get the secret artist inside the book who's going to do basically the page, provided he doesn't, I don't know what his schedule is. He expressed interest before, so I'm sure we'll do it. But it would be the, as we all know, there's an epilogue attached to the story now. It sort of explains how the Wraith of God connects to the current Garbage Man universe, right?
Yes.
So I didn't want people to get to the end of the story and just have it right there. So I want a page that breaks it, like says epilogue, and then you turn the page and then you can read the 3-page epilogue that connects everything. So it's its own little thing.
See,
so that's what I want. That's what
I'm out of it for a couple days and all this stuff happens.
Oh yeah, I'm always thinking.
Man, let's see. We're getting a label maker.
This will never happen.
Oh no. No, he'll find us so boring.
Cecil's got a potty mouth, and he just can't come on our show.
I'm sure he's an outstanding individual.
Oh, I'm sure he is. But
I think he thinks that we're. Well, he'll think that we're completely dorky and boring.
No, he just there's just he just speaks a different language than we do.
I think he said something about like how much money he'd make with a swear jar or something like that. Ooh, what else we got?
Oh, Paul! My gosh, Paul's bringing it. What the heck?
Dodge that one.
Gee, Merry Christmas.
You should do it.
I don't think I've ever had to.
Secret special perk.
I don't think I've ever had to do that to Paul before.
He's been warming up for it. Yeah, we're getting a label maker. What else? Greetings, Loprestes. Kevin Thomas. Hi, Kev.
I don't know. You're right.
Oh gosh.
When you can say that California is worse than Canada, then you're saying something, and that's
I don't understand. Right. Is that? I got to check something.
Okay, so Shelley, you know what we forget to do all the time, and I think it's important.
What?
Public service announcements are important.
Lost his mind. Oh, sorry.
See, okay, now we have to do it again.
Nice.
That was better.
Nice.
That was much better. Okay.
Okay, so I did read something today or watched a little video today on Twitter. Gosh, I'm a monster now. Canada, they have lost their minds. Not all of them. Just this Justin Trudeau guy.
Certainly not Randy hasn't.
No. But I'm with you, Randy. Like, holy cow.
No politics. Oh, I just burped up that trail mix.
Thanks for sharing.
That's what I'm here for.
Give me a kiss.
I told you this book was going to be monstrous.
Woo!
Ooh.
See? Boo. He keeps cutting me off. He's so punny.
Okay, now go ahead and say it.
Oh, no, I don't want to.
No, you don't remember what you were saying. That's the point, right?
No, I do. Oh, look at this one. Cecil always behaved on Mike Miller's streams.
No, I don't trust him.
You don't even know him. You can't say that.
Anybody who wears a wrestling mask.
Okay, that kind of creeped me out a little bit. But
we have an election in Canada tomorrow. Garbage Man for Prime Minister.
Oh, funny. Oh my gosh. Seriously.
Not only will I take your $10, but I'll give him one of these.
Thanks, Randy. Hey, Randy. Yes. Did you see that video, Randy? Like, yeah, basically saying that people who didn't get the vaccine don't deserve to enjoy life, basically like other people, and
they don't deserve to live. They don't deserve to live.
Oh,
That's what's coming next. Mass extermination. But we're here for entertainment value.
Good thing.
Not to bring people down, but to bring people up.
No, good thing. Okay, let me get over it. Okay.
And I think the best way to uplift people's spirits.
What are you playing? What are you playing?
Is to bring a little Resin into the show.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So let's see.
Husker.
Oh, sorry.
Seriously.
The dog is eating my art supplies.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law, you know, Shelley with a beard, he was having a garage sale this weekend.
Oh, my brother. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm like, are you telling me something?
And Shelley volunteered our table and my truck. And some of our supplies are down on the floor now.
Moving to Texas on Friday,
which allows my dog to eat them.
I mean, I'm happy for them to get out of here. And my nephew's playing baseball at a college in Texas, and so they want to be there to watch him play. And I get it, but
and they want to be at Oregon, which I don't blame them.
Don't blame them there.
So, anyway, so would you say that writes in peace?
All right.
You said it was kind of Han Solo-esque.
Well, her legs disappearing into
because it was like in the carbonite kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. With the pain pill shell? He's just spilling stuff. Oh my gosh, you guys, seriously. You all right?
Excuse the top of my head.
That was shiny. I was just gonna say there was a shiny object in there.
Yeah, get the powder, that'll work.
Hey, so Randy, let me see if you're on Twitter. I'll send you that video.
Anyway.
Oh, sorry.
That writes in peace was.
It's all right. It's all right.
I kind of liked it. I only saw it in published in Wrightson's A Look Back big book, and I always thought it was kind of cool. Because I always enjoyed seeing stuff that I'd never seen before, and I saw a lot of stuff in that book that I hadn't seen before. So
I guess. What's it? My eye!
Don't let that cannonball hit you in the eye.
No. Cool.
I met Wrightson many times, and he never remembered me.
Yeah, no. That one time he was with that girl in Seattle. Ugh.
That's when I pissed him off, because I was looking at him drawing Frankenstein upside down, and I guessed
that's right.
And spoiled the surprise.
It spoiled the surprise. He got mad.
And I was like,
yeah, she was yucky.
All right. Well,
break out the makeup kit. I didn't even put any makeup on myself today. I'm sorry, guys.
Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably sitting around asking, and Shelley, I'm sure is too. We've seen my first favorite, Frazetta.
Yes.
You've seen my second favorite.
Yes.
You're probably wondering what my
if I use my math degree, I'm going to say, what's your third favorite?
Well,
Thanks, Dad.
Let's take a look at this right now and see. Shelley went over there to turn the fan on.
Hot here. That's why my face gets so red. Well, and you're embarrassing me, so.
I'm embarrassing you?
Yes.
I think you're embarrassing you.
Okay, that's true. That happens every once in a while.
So that's probably my third favorite Frazetta painting.
Oh, I didn't
probably.
See it. I'm sure it was fantastic.
Well, it was Conan, like hacking up a bunch of people.
Very Frazetta-like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's hard to pick, though. I'll have to go look that up. I'm sure I've seen it, but
I was pronouncing amazing wrong. I love that. That's really funny.
What did you say?
Oh my gosh. When I say it is like the Writes in Peace.
Oh.
There's other ones I like better.
Well, I like to keep it. I like to give
I've never seen that one before.
See?
So I did.
That's what you come to the show for, is to see stuff you haven't seen before, to learn stuff that you haven't yet learned.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
Let's see, what else did we miss while you were messing around?
You mean while I was following my programming schedule?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
We didn't miss anything.
Okay.
Writes is Frankenstein. Writes just all right. Okay. Nice. Conan did some house cleaning.
Okay.
It's indeed. Oh, look at World of Conan. He would be very supportive of that.
Wow.
Be very Raving Sith, who I met at the Rose City Comic Con.
Oh, awesome.
He loves that one. So there you go.
See, I know. I'm just not my best.
Well, Nikolai Setnik says, I miss old fantasy where everyone was wearing skimpy clothes. Well, he's probably referring to the girls, but, just the fact of the fact of drawing, you know, the figure work of the human figure is much more fun than drawing clothes and stuff over. I'd rather draw the muscles or the, you know, attributes as it were.
Nice.
I assume you're talking about the Conan painting.
Oh, so what else is going on?
Kevin Thomas found Frazetta through his dad's Molly Hatchet vinyls. How about that?
Nice.
Don't you love it how like the younger generation calls them vinyls instead of albums or records like we used to call them? When we were actually
and if you're a daughter who didn't know what they were, they called them vinyls.
That's right. She didn't know how to pronounce vinyls.
She's so cute. So she went to the Pitbull concert Friday night and sent me some videos.
Oh, she
my
did?
favorite song.
Yeah,
and drink.
She told me it was like there was a lot of stoned people, and so
she was a little she said she was uncomfortable a little bit, but she was there with a job to do that I gave her,
which was go to the Pitbull concert.
I told her if she's not going, I was going to fly down and go, but she did video Fireball for me. So. Oh,
okay. So like. Wait a minute. Isn't that illegal? I mean, to like videotape?
Not very long. She just sent me a little bit.
Okay.
Won't get her in trouble.
Aaron.
Just enough to go, oh, I wish I was there.
Will you be doing a model sheet, sketches of your comic characters to possibly be made into action figures? Boy, wouldn't that be nice? You just never know. I'm not doing any model sheets at the moment, but if I was doing action figures, I would definitely have to do model sheets or perhaps a maquette or something, a statue perhaps would be cool. Ooh. Yeah. So we shall see, Comics Legend.
With his cape thing blowing, that'd be cool. Yeah. Liking it.
Well, let's see. I remember when records were made out of metal.
Heavy metal, they were. You're a classic rocker. You weren't like a.
I never was a headbanger. Rocker. You were the headbanger.
A little bit. Oh gosh, how many? We're building.
What's that? Oh yeah. So speaking of copyright infringement. I'm always trying to figure out ways to slide stuff by in the video department because people want to see
they're so
stuff.
Dumb. Yeah. I mean,
but if I do not my videos aren't dumb.
No.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Excuse me for a minute.
I meant the people that like flag for like 5 seconds of something.
Right. Exactly. It's just
that's what I meant.
So I'm constantly working with.
I can't breathe. Okay. Oh, here we go.
I bought this at the I bought this at the store the other day.
And I was like,
for me.
Perfect.
This was like considered a garden, like something you put in your yard, right? This small. I guess maybe your flower bed. 90% off. So it cost me like $2.40. I'm like, why don't you just give it to me? Of course I'll take it. So anyway, you're making me grumpy. But so where were we? But I want to show you guys stuff that of course might have some copyright regulations.
Ooh, the suspense is killing me.
But this.
What is it?
This.
What is it? Tell me.
This. We'll talk about it after I show it. This is a precious moment.
Oh, nice.
Shelley.
These are my favorites.
You always say that. You look at me like, what was that? What was that supposed to be? That's how she does it with it. What was that supposed to be? Okay, you ready?
It's getting a little tense in here. Not the neck. Not the neck. You've already paid too much.
Yeah,
okay.
All right.
Okay, go.
Are we ready?
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Oh, wait a minute. This is the wrong one. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. This is for you, Shelley.
I'll go in traction for a little bit now.
Okay.
To reverse that.
All right. Here.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go. Good.
So you're probably asking yourself, what was that?
I am.
Well, let me tell you.
Okay, tell me.
Before Star Trek, before Batman, there was Adam West hanging on that horse.
No.
Yes.
You have to play it again.
Yes, it was. Before Star Trek and before Batman, there was a pilot for a television show called Alexander the Great, and featuring our good friend William Shatner as Alexander and Adam West as the Great Batman. No, just Alexander the Great Batman was the name of the show.
Oh my gosh.
And so there you have it. So that was a little clip from that. You can actually see the whole movie on YouTube if you'd be so desired. And I actually watched it.
When?
Well, not too long ago. I just kind of stumbled on it. I was like, I'm a Shatner fan. I was like, Shatner is Alexander the Great.
Do Shatner. Do your Shatner.
I'm not doing Shatner. So stop laughing. Stop.
Yeah. Oh, once I get going, it's bad.
So anyway, and John Cassavetes is in it, which is really
who?
John Cassavetes.
Oh,
actor, director, writer.
Sorry, what do you do?
Do you know who Gina Rollins is in? Do you know who Gina Rollins is? Her husband.
Okay.
He's passed away. He was in Rosemary's Baby.
Sorry.
Okay. Anyway.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, Alexander the Pilot is what that was. Was
it any good?
Well, it didn't get picked up, and it was never aired.
Oh, gotcha.
They shot it, and I don't believe it was ever aired. I think it was several years later, after he was already in Star Trek, that they showed it as like a ABC movie of the week or something.
Oh no!
Alexander the Great. I don't know. He probably got royalties. He's probably happy about
it. True. That's true.
And he was young and had his hair, so he was probably thinking
they did a lot of highlighter on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's Alexander the Great. So
well, got to make him look great, I suppose.
Wait a minute.
What?
Bill Shatner and James Doohan were in a Canadian sci-fi show called Space Command in the early 50s. Only one episode has survived. I must find that.
We must find.
Space Command. All right, I'm going to check it out. Shelley's looking for it right now.
Googling it right now. Space Command?
Space Command.
Not Command? Okay.
You know, you couldn't tell Shatner wore a toupee, but the chin strap gave it away.
Oh, no.
I like that. I'm going to give you a little of this for that. Right. She's looking. She's looking. She's looking.
Spaceman pilot. Huh.
Oh, Apex. Wanted to say, hey, Lopresti's great streaming with you on the UVS's channel. That's right. When he brought in the chat for commentary after
and Old Dirty Fatty was there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he had his screen thing on, right? He's hiding behind his.
And I look worse than I do now. But that's okay. I was fired up.
It was late, and you know we were kind of lounging
can we just address that for a minute?
What?
Taylor.
Oh.
No, I just want to say something positive.
Okay.
And then I'll rip him. Okay, so I appreciated, in case he sees this, I appreciated how he approached our little Twitter adventure and said that it wasn't right, and he was, you know, supporting us on that one. But yeah, so I did appreciate that.
Okay.
And that he said it was bad. Okay. But then his arguments were all yeah buts. Okay, that's the worst of it.
In Generations, Shatner wore pantyhose to stop chafing when on the horse.
There's no such things.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Didn't have body glide then, I guess.
Look it.
Look it.
Let me tell you something about that.
This is when he wants to make a point. He'll say, look it.
Let me tell you something about that.
Look it.
That movie.
Okay.
You know the Star Trek Generations, right? That's the one that Kirk was in and Picard was in, and Kirk ended up dying in the
movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Got one.
So he's caught in this like vortex thing, right? Where people are just, you know, living out their I don't want to say fantasies in the sense that could get, you know, a little risque, but they're living out how they want their life to be, what they imagine their life to be. So they're in perfect.
Wait, let me think on that for a minute.
Perfect harmony and peace, right?
Oh.
So Picard goes in there, and he runs across Shatner, who's Captain Kirk, right?
Right.
What is Captain Kirk doing?
Oh.
Captain Kirk. He's living in a log cabin with some chick who we never see, riding horses and scrambling eggs. James T. Kirk, that would not be. Well, he would be on the bridge of the Enterprise till he died.
Oh, he secretly wanted to settle down, but
he
didn't want to let down all his people watching Star Trek
until it got canceled.
Yeah,
and then he was okay with it. No, there's no way James T. Kirk would be making eggs in a log cabin. It just wouldn't happen.
You don't think so?
No. He'd be on the bridge of the Enterprise fighting Klingons.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just imagine Shatner selling pantyhose a la Joe Namath. How about that?
Yep.
Speaking of pantyhose, let me introduce our guest. I don't even know what that means, but we're here to have a little conversation about toys. And you know what my daughter said? When I told her, she goes, what are you doing on the show today? So we're talking about toys. She goes, boring. And I'm like, she goes, you're over 50 years old. Why would you want to talk about toys? I go, I collect comic books. Why is it? What does my age have to do with what I collect?
We have failed completely as parents.
My son gets it. My son gets it.
Yeah.
My daughter does not get it, and she's an artist. She should get it. But anyway, we have as a special guest.
Good.
Yeah, I know. We have a special guest today, and it's he's a former editor. He at Boom and probably some other companies as well that I don't know if he wants mentioned or not. He was writer of Darkwing Duck for many moons and is a toy hunter and
gatherer,
toy expert. And we're going to find out just exactly how much of an expert he is. But ladies and gentlemen of the chat, let's all welcome in Mr. Aaron Sparrow. Aaron, welcome. Is he frozen?
Uh-oh.
There he is.
There he is.
He's frozen.
Must be all
I hear you.
Really loud. Is it okay?
Uh-oh.
You're frozen, Aaron. Is it my fault or your fault?
You guys are coming through fine, so I'm not seeing any.
So it must be you. I can barely hear you. Let me get some volume here.
You can barely, because I can hear myself really loudly.
Just breaking up a little bit.
You're breaking up, Scotty.
Camera not turned on? No, it is. He has moved once.
What does the chat have to say?
Yeah, chat. Is he frozen or is he moving? And it's my computer.
The Amish attack.
Oh, it says Aaron is robotic.
Okay, let me. I'll go out and I'll come back in and see if that helps.
Our internet sucks so bad. Makes me crazy.
Am I roboting right now? Am I roboting right now?
Frozen in time.
Am I frozen?
No.
No. Okay, so it was him.
We did get out of the
bars.
Yeah, out of the blue, all of a sudden we got this Wi-Fi extender thing delivered. Neither one of us ordered it.
It's very strange.
So we're like, oh my gosh, I wonder if somebody felt bad for us because our stream freezes every once in a while. But yeah, we're gonna call tomorrow, and it's well when we were was it the night before we were streaming and we kept on EBS's show.
Yeah, I was having all kinds of problems. I rebooted, but we had a storm too, and I don't know why that makes a difference, but it does. Let's bring Aaron in again and see if this is any better.
Hey,
there you are.
Oh, Aaron!
Hey.
Okay, all right.
We should mention that we share a birthday pretty close.
Do we?
Yes, we shared a crown.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Well, we're really more of a tiara.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was remembering it in just these grandiose ways, right? So, yeah. And then he introduced me to Dee Snider's son.
That's right.
And I was freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse plays Snyder.
No, we were walking through.
Get him on.
Oh gosh.
Rock on, man. No, we were walking through the what was that hotel? It's the not the Hilton.
The Hyatt.
The Hyatt.
The Hyatt, yeah.
And yeah, we walked through the Hyatt because we just got coming back from dinner. We walked to the hotel. We get out to the parking lot. I turn around and you and my wife are gone. And I'm like, what the heck happened to Shelley and Aaron? So I said, oh, they probably ran into somebody. And so we're sitting there, we waited for like 10 minutes. Like, all right, let's go find them. So we had to go back in. And then that's when they were coming. I was like, oh, I just met Dee Snider's son. I'm like, who? What? I'm like, what? Oh, I know who Dee Snider is, but it's like, you know.
Well, it's funny because Aaron, you asked me, did I know Twisted Sister? And I was like, dude, of course I do. I'm an 80s kid.
Jesse, a comic book writer in his own right. He did some books for me at Boom, and he did Evil Ernie for Dynamite, and writer and musician, and just doing all kinds of stuff. Voice actor, jack of all trades.
Wow. Yeah.
Is that what they call a Renaissance man?
A Renaissance man, indeed.
Renaissance.
All right, Aaron.
What do you got first?
I got to ask you a couple questions.
All right, here we go.
All right. Now, I'm going to make you look good before I make you look bad. Okay.
I'm on camera, so I mean that cat's already out of the bag on trying to make it look good. So.
All right. Now I saw these in San Diego. These are the there we go. The Bugs Bunny figures, right? Yes. And these are from Water Everywhere. Those of you who are Looney Tunes fans. This sucker is heavy, by the way. And I didn't get them. I said, I'll wait till Sunday, right? I found him in a small booth way back in the corner, right? I said, I'll get him on Sunday. I went there Sunday, gone. And so, as usual, I was kicking myself, right?
Yeah.
And so I said to Aaron, Aaron, if you find those someplace, let me know. So just one random, I don't know, it was Friday or Saturday, I get this text and I look down and you found them at the right price. So
I did at the price.
He got those. Yeah. Okay. And so Aaron's a guy you can count on, or so you would think. But prior to this, years before this, I said, Aaron, can you hook me up with a phaser from Star Trek II? It seems like a simple request, right? For a guy who's a toy expert.
You're never going to get a guess again.
Years went by, and he never was able to get me this. I ended up getting it myself. And I'm not a toy expert. So, Aaron, can you explain that to me?
Yes.
Do we ever have an explanation for it? Okay, here we go. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I was working for a company at the time, toyrocket.com, and basically like we could pretty much get anything at that point. But the time that you requested it, and I'm like, sure, we can get that. What I could not have predicted is that very same week that you were asking me for that, the company would start to fall apart. The owner was having an affair with one of the employees, and everything like just kind of collapsed on itself.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I was never able to find that phaser. Star Trek stuff is it's kind of hard to find because it's a lot more niche than say Star Wars or Marvel, or they don't produce that much of it, and there's not as much demand for it. So the people that snap it up tend to hang on to it, and it doesn't get out there on the secondary market quite as much.
All right, well that's going to make me sad because I want to move to this real quickly here. Or first off, actually.
I do want to agree with you, Aaron, that Kirk did not want to settle down. Kirk wanted to keep flying around the universe and hooking up with pastel-colored women in tinfoil bikinis, and that's why he would always, Shelley. I'm sorry, but that's why he would always give them that speech. At no, your place is with your people. Mine is with my ship, which was basically the deadbeat. I got to get out of here.
I've been making eggs.
I just pull his chain every time I can. Oh. It's just. I need another hobby, apparently.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So, there's a couple things that I want, but I think I may be in trouble. And that's why I want, to kind of help me out here.
Okay.
Can I get one of these? Or is this like too old and too expensive to get one of these?
No, they're not incredibly easy to find, but when you do find them, they tend to be pretty cheap. They don't... The Star Trek ships, unless I'm just like kind of out of touch on the market with the Star Trek stuff, because lately a lot of things have been jumping up in price, just unexpectedly. There's a huge demand for old toys. People are like going out and trying to find the things that made them happy when they were kids. It's like we're living in some pretty dark times, and people are looking, trying to reconnect with the things that made them happy when they were younger. So you're seeing a lot of action figures, even from just a few years ago, all of a sudden jump up to kind of absurd prices. And I think the same thing's happening with like a lot of old comics too, which you would know about, because you hunt down key issues.
Right. That's why I was going to ask you about that. Are you seeing the same sort of money going into toys that I've been seeing in comics and also in original art? It's just making stuff like you thought 6 months ago, oh, I could get that for this, and now you can't even afford it. I mean, is that you saying that's happening in toys as well right now?
Yeah, I'll buy collections, and then and usually what I do is I do it by piece count. So it's like, how many pieces is this if it's a large collection? And then, okay, I'm going to give you this much per figure. Just kind of average it out, because on some you're going to get less, but on some you're going to get much more. And some of the prices that, like, when you go to look it up and you're like, what you think is like maybe like a $30 figure, and it's going for $120 to $200, and you're like, when did this happen? I used to have 20 of these.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Oh, speaking of that, I also want to give you credit. You did hook me up with that Dragon Man action figure that ended up being worth, out of box, ended up being worth $350. which I sadly sold so I could get a Golden Age Captain America comic. So it went to a good cause.
Yeah, that's a good trade-up.
That was a good toy. So, but yeah, that was pretty amazing when you told me, you know, that Dragon Man you've got, because I think I was talking to you about it, saying I got to liquidate some stuff so I can buy this comic. And you had mentioned that Dragon Man thing was worth like $300+ and I was like, really?
Well, I told you, I said, like, it's going for like $800, and you were like, oh, but I took it out of the package. And I'm like, you can still get $350, $400 for it. And you sold at the right time, because China turned on the knockoff factory. You know, they still have those molds and things like that from the old Toy Biz days. They've started putting them out. You can find them now. You can find a Dragon Man figure for, you know, $40 to $50 on eBay. It's a knockoff, but it's only a knockoff in the sense that it's not the original figure produced years ago. It's still the exact same figure, produced with the exact same materials from the exact same mold in the exact same factory. So it's pretty neat.
Isn't that what happened with the Nightmare Before Christmas toys? Because when Shelley first started getting into that shortly after the movie, they were only available as Japanese imports, and then they were super expensive. But then suddenly they were everywhere a couple of years later, right? And I assume that's the same type of thing.
Well, it was also Disney didn't have they didn't have a lot of faith in the Nightmare Before Christmas movie, and theatrically it didn't. If I recall, it didn't do that well in theaters, and it was considered a flop. But it gained such a cult following on video that it just snowballed. And now, you know, every you know, Halloween to Christmas they're pushing out new products, and people just gobble it up.
Yeah, I have a Oogie Boogie that lights up on my desk at work.
They've got all sorts of stuff.
Kids are like, what is that? I'm like, oh, Oogie Boogie, don't you know? I have someone to teach you.
What is that? Oh, man. Nothing makes you feel older than that, does it?
Yeah.
Okay, now, is this Star Trek Starship Legends, is this a new thing or is this an older thing? Because it looked like it was a Diamond Select thing, but I couldn't tell if they're re-releasing this stuff or if this was an older piece.
That's an older piece. It's designed by Art Asylum, which I don't believe is in business anymore. At least if they are, I think that they're under another name, or you know, they've been absorbed by somebody, because I don't see their logo on things anymore, like in probably good 10 years. So yeah, that's an older piece. Okay.
So now, how often do you go to like shows and stuff? And you know,
I am at the Frank and Son Toy Show in City of Industry 2 days a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Okay, so if you see some ships, right, that are, you know, those mid-sized things, right, they're about this big. You know, there's an Enterprise, and then of course the Romulan ship, and then the Klingon ship, and it doesn't seem like it's too outrageous. Give me a text and say, hey, I found this for how much? Because I'm actively looking for, especially that Romulan ship, but I could go for either one.
The Romulan warbirds, those are some of my favorite. The Romulan warbirds, and then even the Klingon birds of prey are some of my favorite designs from Trek.
Yeah, they were fantastic. And I don't know, it's one of those things where I can't tell you why I never bought them when I would see them at shows. Maybe because I was like, I can't, this won't fit in my luggage. How am I going to get it home without crushing the box?
You thought you could pick it up on Sunday, you know, it'll still be there. Right. And then it wasn't.
It wasn't.
No.
So
how many times does that take? You've done that so many times.
I have. I've done it a million times, it seems like. But I always
ship it, you know, when you're in California too, like, you know, we're at San Diego Comic-Con and you're like, I want that thing, but it won't fit in my luggage. I can just ship it to you, you know. I'll send it out to you.
Well, we did that, I think.
Do you think there'll ever be one again?
Well, there's one in November, but it's dramatically scaled down and it's over Thanksgiving weekend. So it seems like a really bad idea, but I'm sure the diehards will go, but I just don't think it'll be it might be nice because it might be like San Diego used to be before it became Pop Culture Con instead of Comic Con. It might actually be about comics because it's smaller, and you might just get, like, you know, cosplayers and people that are enthusiastic about maybe finding old comics. Unfortunately, there's not too many people excited about new comics anymore. But
no,
you know, but like the back issue boom is absolutely huge. So
the new independent stuff coming out is
that's right.
There's some excitement
cool
behind
stuff.
that.
That's right. The stuff we're doing is cool.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. Hey, how's Wraith of God doing, by the way? I haven't checked it in like 2 months.
Let me see. No, it might have gone up. Don't lie.
All right.
Hold on.
Yep, I'll share screen with something else while she's looking up that information for you.
I'll show off if you want to see some toys that I've got sitting here, just from this week. I've got those to show off too. Yeah.
But I want to get a couple questions in here first. Now, you remember these guys, right, from Sideshow?
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Now I have that Frank.
We had the Frankenstein.
I know, but I didn't want to climb up.
It was our daughter's favorite toy for a while. She would sit and hold his hand.
Yeah, when she was little. Now these are worth some money, aren't they? I mean, like over $100 kind of money.
Yeah, I believe so. I think those are worth some. I haven't come across one in a long time, so I haven't looked up the market on them. Generally, I kind of keep abreast of things, but it's mostly stuff that's coming through a lot, and you don't see those come through, quite as often. So I would say they're definitely upwards of $100, I think.
Nice.
See, and I feel like I invested well.
There you go.
I had good taste and I invested well.
Yeah.
Did you find it? Okay, give it to us.
We are at 1,306 backers at $94,147.
How much time left?
Well, I just extended for 2 weeks.
Oh.
That was
cool.
We closed out last night, and then I extended at the last minute because I was like, I'm going to get to 100. So
well, there's also people will also like message you and they're like, I don't get paid till this date, and
right,
and so it's always nice to give them a chance.
It's exciting.
All right,
plus Indiegogo, you can go in demand afterwards. So
right. Okay, I don't want to dominate the show completely with my toys. Let's see what you've got. Show me some stuff you just picked up.
Aaron?
All right, stuff that I've just picked up this week. Now, I picked up half of this because this is the Build-A-Figure that I'm going to show you. I picked up 3 of the 4 figures you needed, and I was missing one, but I finally got the last one today, or yesterday. So this is King Shark from the new Suicide Squad movie. He is a big boy.
Now that just came out? That's brand new?
Yeah, just came out. It's from Mcfarland Toys. You had to buy Peacemaker, Harley Quinn, Bloodsport, and Polka Dot Man in order to get all the pieces to put this guy together. But there he is in his cute little shorts.
Were those like in the blister packs, like a part of his arm was in there, and so you had to open up all these things to get the parts to put them together?
Yep, you had to open up 4 toys, but I open up everything anyway. I used to be one of those obsessive compulsives that had one of everything in the package and then would open one as well. And eventually, my friend Marie said to me, "Why do you have all these things like boxed up in your garage?" And I was like, "Well, one day I'm gonna have a room and I'm gonna display everything, and it's gonna be like a toy museum, and it'll be fantastic. All the things that I love." And she said, "You live in the state of California. By the time you can afford a house big enough to show off all this stuff, you could just buy it again." And so I went, "Oh yeah, you're right." So I sold off everything that was in the box, and I just kept the loose stuff, which makes me happy. Now this is kind of a unique piece because this is another Build-A-Figure. Right now there's an Iron Man wave out, and if you get all 6 pieces, you can build Ursa Major from the Soviet Super Soldiers, who's like a big bear. But one of the things that I do with 2 friends of mine is we do 3D modeling, printing, and casting so that you can make custom figures. And I've got one towards the end that I think will interest you. But basically, we made a new head for it so that you could turn Ursa Major into Grizzly.
Well, wait a minute. Now, how did you do that?
Basically, we 3D model, the heads that we want, and he comes with different expressions too. So we've got a yelling one and just a neutral expression and things like that. So that depending on what you're displaying, you can kind of vary it up. So this one, he's just got kind of like the evil grin, and then of course I had to paint him to match.
Right.
So, but yeah, now I have a Grizzly figure because who knows if we'll ever get that guy. I would assume we will eventually, because they're not going to make this body and not get some other use out of it. But
right,
I think we did a pretty good head sculpt. I think that
oh my gosh,
our guy Grayson is really good, and I kind of art direct him and give him a lot of reference and tweak, tell him how to tweak it along the way, and he really delivers. So it's my favorite thing right now, because it's like, oh man, if you had told me as a kid there's going to be a Grizzly figure, I would have been like, they're never going to make a Grizzly figure. I'm never getting that.
Not to make my own, Jim.
Now you have to do the Jackal. So you have the Grizzly and the Jackal, right? And Gwen Stacy.
They made the Jackal, oddly enough.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was. I think because it was an easy, it was basically just like a head sculpt that they had to do. You'll get some of those obscure characters when they have a body type and they're like, okay, we need something that doesn't require a lot of extra accessories or things like that, or add-ons to the basic body. So who can we do? And then just do a new head sculpt, and they're like, here, it's the Jackal, and you're like, oh, hey, didn't expect to get that guy.
Now, do you call those? You know how they used to have what we call garage kits for models and stuff. So what do you call these? Are they just custom toys? Is that what you would refer to them as?
Yeah, we usually just call them custom heads, but there are things that where there's more pieces involved, and we use the term garage kit a lot of time to describe them to people who are kind of just getting into it and don't quite understand what you'll ship them the piece when they order it, so that they can make their own. They'll be like, well, it's got it's got like Flash on it. And you're like, yeah, it's like a garage kit. You got to clean it and, you got to customize it. Or they'll say like, the head doesn't pop right onto the body that I want to use it on. And we're like, well, we don't know what body you're going to get. Like in this one we do, so we kind of sized it. But, for a lot of them, we don't know what body you're going to put it on. We don't know what you're going to use it for. If we make a Skrull head, you can put it on any number of bodies that you want to use it for. You're going to have to customize it. You're going to have to adjust the neck post. You might have to Dremel it out a little. You might have to fill it in a little, depending on the post that you're putting it on. So it's like, don't buy a custom piece if you don't plan on customizing. It's like a garage kit.
Right.
You got to do some work.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
All right. So what else you got? We've got the shark. I know these are.
All right.
Like,
so I've got. You know what? I'm going to save this one to the end because this one will be of particular interest to you. So let me just set that aside. I got the Age of Apocalypse figures in this week. This is the second wave they've done of those characters in Marvel Legends. So I've got Iceman, Age of Apocalypse.
Wait a minute, that's Iceman?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that storyline. Remember Legion went back in time to try and kill Magneto and accidentally killed Xavier instead, and the whole timeline shifted. And the X-Men were a little more it was more dystopian, and the X-Men were a little more violent and dark. And so
did that figure come like that, or was that one you had to put together through pieces again?
No, I'll show you the Build-A-Figure that came with these after the. But yeah, Iceman's his own figure. We've got our very first Legion figure ever. So that one's
now is that a custom, or is it?
No, these are all.
That's the actual figure.
Mm-hmm. And I got these. I got these from MightyPins.com. They didn't get their full order, but I was the first person to put in my pre-order, so I got mine. And then the rest of them should be along shortly. So if you've got your pre-order in, you should be getting them soon. If you haven't, go ahead and get it in, and get a hold of these because they are pretty nice. This is Shadowcat from the Age of Apocalypse.
Like Kitty Pryde?
Yep, this is Kitty Pryde, and she actually has.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now. Yeah.
She actually has swappable gauntlets. So these you can take her fists off, and these gauntlets swap out to ones that have like extended claws, like in the comic. So she's a little bit of a Wolverine fangirl in the Age of Apocalypse. So she's got some claws on her. Then there is Cyclops with his long hair, long hair emo look. I'm actually going to end up making a custom. We're going to end up modeling a custom head for this one because I am not satisfied with the head. It's a little bit lackluster.
Yeah.
But this is kind of this is kind of one where they it's like if they've got a character that requires a new sculpt or one that's expensive, they'll go with some characters that they don't have to do too much for. So this is like a pretty basic body that gets reused a lot, and then all they needed to do was make him a new arm and some new accessories and you've got Cyclops. But yeah, it's a very undramatic face, and the hair is just kind of dull and lifeless.
I don't like mine.
So are you doing when you're out there shopping for toys, I mean, how much are you buying so you can make a custom figure? Are you looking for stuff you can customize, or are you looking for stuff just that is collectible or that you want or that you can resell, or is it just like a combination of all that all the time?
A little bit of everything. I tend to collect I like 6-inch figures. That's kind of like the scale that I like to collect. And I kind of like everything to kind of fit together. So depending on what it is, whether it's Marvel or DC or horror figures from the companies like NECA, they're doing the Universal Monsters now. Jaded Toys just came out with some 6-inch Universal Monsters, so I picked up the creature from the Black Lagoon. So it's one of my favorite monster designs ever, probably second only to the Predator.
How is the sculpt on those, though? That's the thing, right? I'm sorry. How is the sculpt on the creature? Universal Monsters?
The Jaded Toys?
Well, just any of them.
Mm-hmm. So they're actually really nice. The Jaded Toys were when they came in, they were surprisingly I was surprised at the amount of detail. Yeah, like these are some of the older ones that a different company has done.
These Sideshow ones I thought were really, really good. Right, these are kind of the standard for me for Universal Monsters. So these new ones that are coming out, how do they compare? Do you think to these in terms of? Better. Oh, they are.
Yeah, because these are a lot. Yeah, the ones that you're going to be getting from NECA, and even the ones that have come from Jada Toys, I think are nicer. I like posability in my figures. This one's not very posable that you've got on screen. So I like to be able to to pose them, put them on the shelf so that they look cool. I accidentally just tore a figure's leg off while I'm talking to you, so I will have to fix that. So this is Sabretooth from Age of Apocalypse, and
as you're fixing the toy you just destroyed.
Oh no!
Yeah, I just tore his leg off. So now it's just a little piece.
Aaron.
Yeah, it's the scandal, right? It's just a little like insert piece in there that came out, so I could easily fix that. But yeah, it's just kind of funny. Otherwise, aside from his leg being ripped off, this is a pretty neat representation of Sabretooth. Again, I'm going to do a custom head for him because this doesn't look enough like Joe Madeira's artwork for me. This is more the Exiles Sabretooth than the actual Age of Apocalypse. So we'll end up sculpting a custom head for that guy. And then the Build-A-Figure for that series, because I did pick all those up. Let me see. We've got.
Yeah, I want a new head.
Oh yeah, you can just make yourself a robot body.
Wasn't that an episode of Star Trek too?
Probably. It was also an episode of C-Lab where they were arguing about the fact that you could put your brain in a robot body, but it couldn't be taller than 5 feet because robotics had not advanced past the 5-foot barrier, and so everybody was really upset. But and then Captain Murphy wanted chainsaw hands and fantastic robot breasts because he wanted to be a sexy Adrian Barbobot. So this is Rogue from Age of Apocalypse.
Look at that hair. See,
yeah, modeled after Ghost in the Shell. Since Joe Madeira was a big anime and manga fan, so he modeled when he got to redesign Rogue for the Age of Apocalypse, he modeled her hair after Major Kasanji. And then the Build-A-Figure for that wave each is Colossus. So that was him from Age of Apocalypse. And each figure comes with a piece that you put them together when you get them all.
So that's the one. That's the bigger piece that you assemble yourself. That's really cool. I like
it's a good way for them to give you big guys, without you having to necessarily pay more. Because if they put him out on a single card, you'd probably have to pay like $30 for him. But if you buy the whole wave, you get basically the $30 figure as a bonus.
Right.
And then the one that I want to show you, I'm not completely done customizing it yet, but it will be of particular interest to you because it is based on your art, is Lord Pumpkin.
Oh! Oh my gosh!
Let's go back. I was going to ask you about this because you had a couple years ago had sent me a picture of, I don't know if it was one you made or one that you found that somebody else had made, of a custom-made Lord Pumpkin figure. And I was just going to ask you, you see that popping up every once in a while, and here you.
Oh my god!
This is one you're making, though.
Yes, yeah. So I'm going to end up customizing the whole body to make him more, and I'm going to give him a custom neck so that his head sits a little higher. He's actually a 3-part cast. So there's a plug-in to give him the green effect, behind his eyes and his mouth. And then the smoke effect, the energy effect that's coming out of his mouth is another piece. So you slide that in first, then put the additional piece in, and then once you lock it in, it's locked in for good. You can't take it out. But my plan is maybe to put a light inside of him so that when you put his head on, he'll light up and his eyes and will glow and his mouth will glow, and he'll look really cool.
That is really cool. So obviously that's a Joker body.
Yep. Yeah, this is a Mcfarland Joker body. I chose it because it looks Lord Pumpkinish, and it's also kind of the tallest, lankiest version of the Joker that's out there. So,
right.
Well, the greens match nicely.
And so you guys 3D printed the pumpkin head?
Yeah, we modeled it up and then printed it out and then cast it. And, you make a mold and you cast it because printer resin is really really fragile, really brittle. So if he was made of printer resin, first of all, he'd be all gray, and you wouldn't get this like nice translucent effect. And if I dropped him, this would probably break off immediately, and he'd chip in places because of how fragile printer resin is. So it's cast in a plastic-based resin, so it's just like a regular action figure head when you're done.
So wait a minute, excuse me. So you print out on the 3D printer, you got the resin, then you cast that 3D print and use that as your mold, and then or the the model for your mold, and then you recast with plastic so that you have something you can actually work with without breaking.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you guys are interested in this stuff, anybody who's in the chat or anything like that, just go to Instagram and look up bigheadstudioscustoms.com. And that's where we post all the stuff. And there's a link in the bio on where you can buy it if you want to make your own figures and things like that with anything that I've shown off today. And there's a lot more stuff up there that we've done. So
cool. All right. Now
I want to make sludge eventually. I want to make sludge, and then this Sabretooth body is the one that I tore the leg off of. This piece actually you can take it off, and it's a pretty good generic body with big muscular arms. And I was thinking I could probably make Prime from the Ultraverse out of this guy, out of this this body mold. So we'll see. We'll see if I get around to that, because I would love to have a line of Ultraverse figures that weren't kind of the crappy Galoob ones that we had in the 90s that weren't very posable and were oddly shaped.
Did you ever see any of the prototypes from the second wave that had Lord Pumpkin and Sludge?
Yes.
Did you see those?
Second wave?
Ever?
That second wave and
gosh,
the Darkwing Duck second wave are two of like my great laments in toy collecting, that we never got those because they all looked great. They had really stepped up their game. There was a Sludge in that one too.
Well, it's funny. You look at that and you go, why did you? Yeah, but he had that rubbery skin that kind of slid. You could push him with your thumb and it would kind of, it wasn't hard plastic. It was kind of rubbery skin on him. And you look at that second wave and you're like, why was this not the first wave? I mean, everybody buys monster toys, right? Why would you save all your best monster toys for the second wave? I mean, I know they're trying to tie it up with the cartoon show, the Ultraverse cartoon show. It was like all those figures were lame. And then they had the Lord Pumpkin one that had the clown face on it, right? And it had switchable heads, and then the Sludge one. And you're just like, I remember seeing those at Chicago show, holding the prototype going, oh, I can't wait. And then, of course, never happened.
You're like, the future is now.
I get a little...
This industry.
Well, look at this Collector Express.
Filled with heartbreak.
Heartbreak. Boy, isn't that the truth? Collector Express says, check out my channel. I just posted a custom Prime today. How about that?
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
Well, post the link in the chat, dude, so we know how to go find it.
Yeah, I'll definitely go check it out.
Oh, I'm taking crap. Aaron broadcasting from a flip phone. Apparently,
which Aaron? There's two
yeah,
Aarons.
that's true.
You guys have to share it.
That's right. Either one. I don't know. You keep blipping out, so I'm not sure if it's. I think it's you, but it could be me because I've been having problems too. So I will share equally responsibility for our crappy internet.
I know I blipped out twice because somebody did what I absolutely hate, which is they called me and it pushes to my iPad, which I need to shut off, but I keep forgetting to do it. So it pushes to my iPad, so I'm like, dismiss the call. And then they called right back. And it's like, if I didn't pick up the first time, I'm not picking up the second time. Don't do that.
Okay, I have some Mcfarland questions to ask you, but since we're on, well, you pretty much answered my questions on the custom-made toys, but I saw this that I thought was kind of cool because I'm a Hanna-Barbera fan. So let me show you this real quick. If it's possible to actually share my screen quickly, which it never is. Come on, baby. There it is. Somebody made this. Well, what's that called? Customfigures.com.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a big thing that's going on right now. Is customizing toys, right? I mean, imagine it is, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. If you want to see, like, there's a site called FigureRealm.com where most people post their stuff. And if you want inspiration or you just want to see like what people are making, just go to their custom section. There's a lot of really great stuff on there that you can check out. People do amazing work. I mean, I'm middling at best with what I do, but there's guys that just do incredible stuff that's so detailed and takes so much time. And there's a huge passion for it. So yeah, people love doing it, and it's a good way to make characters that otherwise you might never get. Like, when's the next time somebody's going to do a Mytor figure? I would love to have a Mytor figure, but it's unlikely that anyone's going to do it.
Right. Well, and the thing is, a lot of these guys are, I mean, I hate to say it, but they're better craftsmen than a lot of the people they have making some of these toys. The guys
people ask us all the time. They're like, why aren't you guys like working for Hasbro and et cetera, et cetera? And it's like, you could, but I'm not going to get to make what I want to make. I'm going to get to make whatever they tell me to.
Isn't that the truth? Now, do you sell this stuff or do you keep it? I mean, like, for example, if you did, well, your Lord Pumpkin toy, for example, right? So you do and you finish it. So at that point, is it just for you, or do you figure out a way to kind of, okay, these are the pieces you need, and we'll sell you the pumpkin head and you can make it yourself? I mean, you were talking a little bit about that earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we sell the parts. We sell the parts so people can do it themselves.
Okay. Now, you remember these guys, right?
Yeah, those are awesome.
Okay, so I saw these.
Do it. Do your Hercules.
Oh, what, the Gleep and Glop?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
He's my puppet. Do it.
Good night, everybody. These came out, and I was in at MegaCon, right?
Right.
Somebody had the whole set. I think they were $40 a piece when they came out. And Josh was a little kid at the time, and he's like, Dad, you got to get those. You got to get those. I'm like, Josh, because we were no longer, I think we went to the MegaCon right after we moved back to Oregon, and then we went back to MegaCon, and they were like, he was like, you got to get those. And I'm like, Josh, these things are freaking huge. How are we going to get them home?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't buy them. I thought I'll get them at the next show. That's, I'm prepared to ship stuff and blah, blah, blah. Never saw them again, of course.
Have you not learned your lesson?
I know. This is just another horror story. But one of these I believe I got from you, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
The other two, a guy by the name of Jeff Streeter, who used to buy art from me, we traded. I traded some work in his sketchbook for the other two. So now I have the entire set. And my daughter was like, when I finally got it, she was like, we got to take these apart and put them together. I'm like, they're never coming out of the box. No, don't touch them. I had to put them up on like a really high bookshelf so she couldn't reach them.
If you take them out, you can actually put them together, and the backdrop spells out. You can see it in the picture there. It spells out Herculoids. And so it's like a nice little display piece. Really cool about it.
Look at everybody's informing me. Hi, Aaron Lopresti. Your voice is roboting and your video is P.
P?
Because you can figure out whatever that pour or maybe something else. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know why I'm having. We even got like a booster over here for the internet, and it's still not working with crap. So I don't know. We're gonna have to figure this out.
Oh, they said I'm in high res. Now I'm horrified. I better smear some Vaseline on my camera. I want to get the Garbo treatment.
That soft 40s look, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute here. That's the wrong one. No, that's not the one. Where did I?
I was one in the chat asking about Sarah saying Silverhawks was a cool cartoon and cool figures. Yes, and Super 7 just announced that they're making new Silverhawks figures in their Ultimate line. So if you guys are Silverhawks fans, it's a great time to be collecting. Super 7's doing some great stuff. They did a run of He-Man figures after Mattel kind of stopped doing the classics. And then Mattel took the license back so that they could do like the Revelation show and do the Origins line and things like that. Because Super 7 was making so much money, they were getting these royalty checks. And they were like, what? Where's all this money coming from? It's like, oh, we licensed He-Man out to Super 7. And they're like, well, this is just the royalties. What could we be making if we were producing these again? So they took the license away. But Super 7 pivoted into doing Thundercats. They're doing a Ninja Turtles line that is based on the original Playmates line, but in a larger scale and just much nicer articulation and paint applications than the originals. But otherwise, they're indistinguishable. It's like they've captured the sculpts perfectly. So yeah, all that stuff's coming back. I'm hoping Super 7 will get to Tiger Sharks. You do Thundercats, you do Silverhawks, and then get to Tiger Sharks.
That's right. Art Taber says the Aaron and Aaron show. Dig it. So how about that? Art's dropping in. Thanks, Art.
I love it.
And
Art used to live not far from me, and then and then I found that out, and before we could get together for dinner or anything, then he moved. He wisely got out of California.
Yes, wisely. Also, let me throw a plug in for Art Taber's Black and White Volume 2 funding on Indiegogo right now as we speak. So go check out that campaign when you get a second.
Now, Art, I haven't looked at the campaign. Am I able to get Volume 1 too? Is there a Volume 1 add-on? Because I missed Volume 1, so I'd like to get both. So let us know in the chat if I can do that, so we can recommend it to people.
My guess is you can, because Art's a businessman, and he would not.
He would not pass up the chance to get new readers.
That's right. That would be foolish, wouldn't it?
It would. I like Art. It's almost like you should be like running the comic book industry because they seem to have forgotten that.
What I have to let everybody know that keeps telling me, Aaron, why are you using Wi-Fi? The problem is my router is downstairs. Okay, I am upstairs, and I would have to rewire the entire house to run a direct cable up here, and I ain't doing it because it costs a fortune. So that's why. And I haven't had any trouble with my Wi-Fi until like last week and a half, and it's just been nightmarish. So I will see what I can do, but you guys have to bear with me. All right.
You're in Oregon, right? So there's a good chance that your local telecom was burned down by Antifa. Okay, dude. How old are these? These are Mcfarland toys, apparently. Those are from about 2000, 2009, 2008, 2009.
I don't remember ever seeing them, and I just was looking for some images to talk to you about, and I saw these, and I went, "Are you kidding me?" So, are these expensive to find these now?
They are expensive. They were a really limited run. They did it. McFarlane did like one line. I think they had a second one planned, but I don't know if the second line ever came out. At the time, it wasn't very successful for them, but now they're pretty expensive. I just actually had a collection come through not that long ago that had those in it. I'll have to see if there's any left, but I know that they were pricey.
Because I think that Johnny Quest one is cool, and that Captain Caveman are the two that I really wouldn't mind getting my hands on. So,
yeah, those are nice. The Tom and Jerry is really cool too.
Yeah, I mean,
Penelope Pitstop is sold, purely by the fact that she's got Muttley.
Right. Where's Dick Dastardly? Shouldn't he be in there someplace?
I think he was supposed to be in series 2, if I recall.
No, the series 2 that never came out. The dreaded series 2, right?
You've got to front load your series to grab everybody's attention.
You know what I have? I have those, those McFarlane Grinch ones, the play sets.
Mm-hmm.
I got all of those. Now,
if I showed this one,
are those? Oh,
Age of Apocalypse Magneto.
No. So you just went total at this show. You just went total Age of Apocalypse. That's what you were looking for.
Well, it's just one wave. So like one wave comes in, and you're like, oh, I want to build the figure. I want to build a figure. I want all those characters. So yeah, it's just like one assortment of all those characters comes in at once in one single case. So
okay, so getting back to the Grinch, I've
got a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, well, don't we all? Right? It's just in different areas. I'm a tragic collector myself of many things. That people come over to your house and they think you're a hoarder and should be on that television show, right? And you're like, no, I just collect stuff. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's a hoarder. So I guess I am.
Well, but none of my stuff has collapsed, and there's nobody's finding dead cats under my toy collection. That's when you've hit hoarder level where you're like having to actually like physically climb over it, and there's like you don't know where your dog is, you haven't seen him in years. I saw one thing in a hoarder's house. They lost a turtle like 10 years ago and just thought he died somewhere in the house. And then the turtle just showed up in the living room one day. Like he'd just been living in the trash. God knows what he's been eating.
I know I was going to say, apparently there's enough food in the trash that was laying on the floor that he could eat. Oh, that's disgusting, but kind of funny. Now, this is Sphinxor and his ring shippers says McFarlane's Where the Wild Things Are were high quality. That's another set that I wish I'd got and I didn't. Probably because I didn't have any shelf space, but I thought those were really cool when they came out.
Those actually came through recently too. Those are surprisingly not expensive. They were at one point. About a year or two after they came out and they weren't available anymore, they shot up to a ridiculous price. But now, I don't know. Now you can find them for like $20 to $50 for each figure.
Now, did they come in a set or were they separate? They were separate, right? Separate.
I want to say they did a box set, but they were separate as well.
Okay. All right. Well, keep your eyes open for those too. Now, see, I'm only interested in mint in box, Aaron. I don't take my toys out of my of the box and play with them. I'm sorry.
You took Dragon Man out.
Well, because and Dragon Man is a perfect example. Let me show you another perfect example of why I quit doing it. I've only taken out a couple toys, and they're always the ones that end up being worth money, and then I'm all pissed off that I did it. Now, you remember this? This was a Diamond Direct.
Mm-hmm.
Select or whatever. It was I think it was a San Diego exclusive. And so I'm a big, Watcher fan, and anybody that's got like a big bald head, I'm going to support that.
Yeah, I feel seen. So I feel represented.
Yeah, exactly. And so I bought this and I took it out of the box because I thought this is never going to be worth anything. And there were stacks of them at the Diamond booth in San Diego. So I took it out of the box and put it up on my shelf, and now it's like, $100+ in mint in box or something. And I'm like, why? Why of all the other toys I left in the box, that's the one that's worth money? But
he and Mephisto, because that's the only figure release they've gotten. Now they're doing that What If series on Disney Plus, and they're doing a Build-A-Figure Watcher from that series, but it's not that classic Fantastic Four Watcher. It's the TV version played by Jeffrey Wright, and I'm kind of looking at that, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I've got the Diamond version. Now recently, I think because the What If show was coming out, Diamond solicited the Watcher again. They were going to go back into production on him, but for some reason that I still don't know, they canceled it. So you saw the prices on that figure drop because people thought, oh, they're going to re-release it. And then they canceled it, and then it shot back up again. So now it's back up over $100. You want to know a really clever scheme for action figures with the Build-A-Figures is they recently released the Hand Ninja. And people want to build an army of hand ninjas, right? So, for your display or whatever, you want to have more than one, fighting Daredevil or fighting Wolverine. The Build-A-Figure piece that came with the Hand Ninja are Stiltman's legs. So the more hand ninjas you buy, the taller you can build Stiltman.
So he's basically unlimited to just how many ninja figures you want to buy. Now, Stiltman is cool. That would be a cool figure. So you buy these ninja figures for the legs, but who's got the rest of them?
The rest of them were from a Spider-Man assortment. So you bought Miles Morales, you bought Gwen Stacy in the Spider-Gwen costume. I guess she's called Ghost Spider now, which I don't like because I thought that the Ghost Spider name worked better on the Spider-Man that was actually Ghost Rider. That worked a lot better. But it is a cool sounding name, and they gave it to her. So you had to get her, and then there was like Prowler. It was the Into the Spider-Verse wave. But you could build comic book Stiltman if you bought the whole wave. And the more ninjas you bought, the more legs you got, and the taller you could build him. I got mine about 10 ninjas tall, and then he started to bow under the weight. Yeah, he started to bow under the weight. So I have to figure out a workaround for that. But initially, I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool to get him like 30 feet tall?
It's just like coming out your chimney or whatever, And
yeah, like, I thought, the booth at Frankensons that I'm at 2 days a week, I thought we could put him on top of the booth with one leg going to one side, one leg going to the other side, and he would just tower above the booth, this little tiny Stiltman, so no matter where you were in the show, you could go, oh, there's that booth right there, because there's Stiltman.
All right, I'm going to show you something. I want you to tell me if you've ever seen one of these before. I'm trying to read on the bottom of the figure's foot who made this. Applause. Applause made this. Is Applause Toys still even a thing?
No, it's actually a very sad story. Applause folded when the owner unfortunately took his own life.
Oh, God, that's tragic. Leave it to me to bring it up and ruin everybody's day.
Yeah, it's like good job, Aaron. Good job. Like drag the whole chat down. Now we're all thinking about our mortality and the nature of depression.
Okay, well let's change that by just going, look, he can rotate at the waist. This is, it's a figure, but it's not articulated at all, right? He's got the webbing underneath his arms. I saw this at a comic shop at least 30 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was, and bought this. And I thought, what a great looking figure. And it was just, he had it sit, it wasn't in a box or anything. It came like this, as far as I know.
Mm. Yeah, I think that most of the Applause stuff, there was some stuff that was boxed, but a lot of it just came with like the little tag, like kind of like, you'd see them in Hallmark stores and things like that. And it would just have the little tag like wrapped around the arm or the leg. I have that Captain America.
Yeah, and this one came out, then this one, and I think there was supposed to be a Thor or something, and then they just quit making them. So obviously the tragic ending that you just described was probably part of that reason. But I have never seen one of these sent, and I'm not doing toy shows a lot, so wouldn't be looking for it. But I haven't seen one of these ever. So I was just kind of curious if you had.
No, I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one in years. It's funny, the Captain America. I actually became friends with the way that I got introduced to the Frankenson toy show, and I was kind of going there, but the way that I got more involved and really started going there a lot I was working at Allstate as a quality assurance analyst, and I had that Captain America on my desk. And this young guy was walking by, and he's like, "You like Captain America?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I love Captain America." And he's like, "You like comic books?" Yeah. We became friends, and turned out he was a toy dealer. So like, I really supplemented my collection with that friendship. I got the G.I. Joe, the 7-foot G.I. Joe aircraft carrier, the USS Flag. I got one of my aircraft carriers that I have in my collection from him. He actually sourced it for me. I was like, yeah, because we were having lunch one day, and he was like, well, "Tell me a toy that you wanted as a kid, but you never had, and you always wanted." And I was like, "I always wanted the Flag. I always thought that thing was great." But it's like I was a poor kid, and my mom was a basket case, so I wasn't going to be getting the USS Flag. And a couple of weeks later, he calls me up and he goes, "I've got one." I was like, "What? No way!" So yeah, and it's like, I think I paid him $125 for it at the time, and now that thing's like $1,000 or more.
How big is it?
I've got 3 of them now. It's 7 feet long when you assemble it.
Are you kidding me? 7 feet long?
Yeah,
and you have 3 of them.
I have 3. They're all disassembled and they're all in storage. But one's original in the box, so it's never been opened. One is the one that he got me, which has been assembled multiple times. And then the third one is one I got from a guy who had actually customized it into a Cobra aircraft carrier, and was just looking to unload stuff and dumped it to me for pretty cheap. So so 3 of them total. Okay.
I want to address a couple things in the chat here. This says Stiltman's legs are hollow, so you can put metal rods in them to stabilize them, and then you can go crazy tall. So how about that?
Yeah, they are hollow. He is absolutely right. So this little piece comes off, like the bottom, so like you only need 1 pair of legs to make him, but if you want to build more, you just pop the lower foot off, and then you can attach them all together. So yeah, they are hollow. So yeah, metal rods would definitely. That is a good tip. Thank you for that. Yeah, that would definitely work.
What program does Aaron Sparrow use to create his custom toys? Comics Legend wants to know.
I use 2. I use ZBrush, we use ZBrush and we use Nomad Sculpt. Nomad Sculpt is cheaper. You can get like that. You can get the app like on your iPad for like $15. ZBrush is a lot more expensive.
Yeah, that's. I'm not really familiar with that stuff, but you can't know everything, Aaron. That's why you're here.
No, you need to bring in people who have other fields of expertise.
That's right. So, errands. That's a question to both of us. Do either of you have any toys you have had since your childhood? Myself, I have a 85, 87 Snarf Thundercats. So Brian, who's suddenly old, wants to know, do we have any toys that we had since we were kids?
I have a lot of toys that I had when I was a kid.
You got to have a favorite toy, right?
Yeah, actually, one of my favorites that I have from a kid is I still have my original. It's like a 12-inch Darkwing Duck action figure that with like a kind of a cloth satiny cape and a removable hat, and he's kind of like pre-posed, and he's so you can only get him in the one pose, and it's based off of some of the model sheets from the show, but his arms do swivel and his legs kind of swivel, but it's a really nice figure, and it's just attached to a lot of fuzzy childhood memories for me, which is kind of funny because then of course I ended up doing the comic book. So who knew?
Well, I'd like to say my toys from my childhood, from my young childhood, would have been like mid to late 60s child toys. So
I thought you were going to say that about from my childhood, they would have been like sticks and rocks. I thought you were going to go there. I thought you were going to make a joke.
Lincoln Logs, my action figures. No, I had a couple things. One is I used to really be fascinated with the wind-up walking toys, and I got my mom got me a set of these. They came in a box. This was before blister packs. They came in the old Sears and Roebuck box or whatever, right? And they had there was like a guitar. No. Yes, a guitar, a ketchup bottle, a bottle of milk. There was a couple of. There was a gas pump, and you'd wind them up, and they'd walk. They had the little walkie legs, right? They would go like this, and I still have the ketchup someplace around here. So that's the one thing. I want to also mention that I have an original Green Ghost game.
Oh wow!
And it has all the original parts to it. So
wow.
I still have that.
That is a cool. That's a cool game. I've had a couple of those over the years come through in collections, and it's really rare to get one complete. But yeah, it's such a cool looking. In the box art's amazing, and it's fantastic. Oh, you know what else I have? I have the Mighty Men and Monster Maker. If any of you guys know what that is, if any of you guys are that old or it got passed down, maybe you're not that old, but it got passed down to you from an older sibling. It was these plates. And you would take them out and you would put them on, kind of like a flat surface, and then bring down the. Hang on, I think someone's trying to call me again and probably interrupting the stream. But you would lay the plates down, like they each one had like an image on the side, like a raised image, and you put the plates down, and then put a little piece of paper over it, and then drop this little thing to hold it in place, and then you had a crayon that you had peeled the paper off of and stuck into this applicator, and you would scrub the crayon across, and the raised part of the plate would create this drawing on the piece of paper for you, and then you'd color it or whatever. But you would move the plates around, and you would create different heroic characters and different monsters, and man, that thing was the coolest. And I came across a complete one a few years ago, bought it, and then when I got home and I opened it up, whoever owned it originally, like all that kid's drawings were still, all the ones he had made were still in there. So it was like kind of a neat thing, like, oh man, this is a piece of somebody's childhood, their cherished childhood memory, and now I have it and they don't.
Do you remember those things that they were molds, and they would have this liquid crap that you'd squirt in them, and then you'd cook it, and you'd create these like worms and creepy crawlers. Yeah, creepy crawlers. There you go.
Yeah, and we all had it, and they were very dangerous. They basically would cook. They had like metal inside, and the plates that would hold the thing together, and that metal would get very hot, and you'd go to take your thing out, and you'd burn yourself. And it's like we got burned. We all got burned, but we had the good sense to keep our mouths shut about it. But then one kid got burned, and he went and he cried to mommy, and mommy went and cried to Congress. And before you could say it's Mattel, it's swell, the great goop factories of Korea were shut down forever, and creepy crawlers was done.
So that's if you have a creepy crawlers unopened in a box, you got a collectible thing there.
Yeah, definitely, because it was man, our toys were dangerous as hell.
Yep.
It's like, hey, here's a Human Torch costume for you for Halloween. It's a bunch of oily rags and a lighter. Enjoy, kids.
Pour gasoline on it, light it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Please tell us the name of that software again.
Nomad Sculpt, which you can get in the App Store, and ZBrush. And ZBrush is a program more for your for your PC and things like that. Mm-hmm.
And Nomad's Sculpt. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I bought the iPad that I'm broadcasting on. It's an iPad Pro. I bought this and the Apple Pencil specifically to use Nomad Sculpt, and it's really simple. It's a really simple to use program. There's a lot of tutorials online, to get you kind of up to speed on how to how to kick your sculpting up and how to use all the tools. So I definitely recommend it. What resin printer do I use or recommend to print out my 3D sculpts? The printers are at my friend's house because he has a larger garage. So he does the printing, but one is a Formlabs printer. That's what we do like the heads on. And then we recently bought a much larger printer to do, like vehicles and things like that. We're going to start doing like big diorama pieces. And but I don't remember the name of that one off the top of my head. I'll try to get that information. And if you guys are like on Twitter or Instagram, hit me up and I'll get that for you.
Paul Brillard, he wants to know, why is there no G.I. Joe love in this conversation, apparently?
We just talked about the USS Flag.
That's right. Maybe I'm late. Maybe he brought that in, and then we talked about it, and he was like, I remember the Kung Fu grip and the, as I rubbed my head, the lifelike hair and Kung Fu grip. Remember those? Mm-hmm. They had that beard.
Yeah, they all had the scar, facial scar.
Yeah, those are good times. Okay,
mine were the 3 3/4. When they started fighting Cobra, and that's where I got into G.I. Joe.
Okay, well, mine are much older, so
much taller.
Yes, much taller, much older. So I had this thing I got when I was a kid. It was called the oh, Aaron, don't bring it up and then not remember the name of it. But it was Vincent Price, shrunken head apple sculpture set. Okay, and it was Vincent Price, and he was on the cover of the box, and he was holding up this little zombie shrunken head, right? And essentially, what you would do is you would have to get a lamp, right? Like an old-fashioned lamp, right? And you'd take the lamp cover off so the bulb was exposed. Then there was this there was 2 pieces of plastic that were like half like cups, but they were open on the other, and they fit together, right, to create this sort of cylinder that was narrow on both ends.
Sounds so dangerous.
Right. No, okay. So you put the first one over the top of the light bulb, okay? And it would have, and in the middle, it had like a plate on the middle of it that would heat up, okay? And then the other plastic one would fit over the top of that, right? And then you'd take an apple, which you'd have to peel, and you have to cure it in salt water for like 24 hours or 48 hours. And then you would hang it in the top of the cylinder of this plastic thing and let it bake for like 2 or 3 days, right? And then it would prune up, right? So basically you'd have this like pruny old shrunken apple thing, right? And then it came with beads and hair and stuff, and you could make faces with the beads and stuff in this wrinkly apple that had dried up and create your own shrunken head. And I'm telling you, it worked. It worked like a charm. But like a kid, an impatient kid that I was, there was always like, you're supposed to use like a 40-watt bulb or something, right? So it wouldn't get too hot. But I was impatient. I didn't want to wait 3 days. So I got a 100-watt bulb and put it in there, and it just melted everything.
I was going to say, this sounds like a great craft project, to be working on when you're in the burn ward after you burned your house down from utilizing a light bulb.
70s toys, man. But the thing was, I forgot to mention that they'd give you these little patterns, and you would carve into the apple like where the eyes would be and where the mouth would be, and they would just scrunch up, and like this, when they dried, you'd have these little pockets that you could stick beads in to make the eyes and stuff, and they really looked good. They really did. So I just wish I hadn't gotten.
You how they got, like, how it actually, like, how you ended up with something that looked like a face instead of just a shriveled up apple.
Well, what you do is, like, you would they give it, so you'd cut like a circle, carve a circle for the eyes, right, like this, and then you'd like a longer circle for the nose, right, and then you'd make a pair of lips for the mouth, and you kind of skin it away so they were raised just a little bit, right, and from the base of the apple, right. So you'd peel the apple, you'd carve the eyes and the nose and the mouth, and then you'd kind of skin away around those so that they were pushed up or protruding a little bit from the apple, right? And then when it dried, it just went, and you'd have these, like, the circles where you cut for the eyes would just close up like this, and they'd have slits. You'd put a slit there, and you could just jam a bead in there, and they'd have like these puffy eyes with the beads and everything. They really did look fantastic. And then it came with some glaze. You could glaze it so that it wouldn't rot on you. And they were really, and I made a ton of those until I got too aggressive with the 100-watt light bulb and melted everything.
Your parents were like, "Yeah, we're not buying you another one."
Yeah,
you almost killed the entire family.
It makes me think that I know. What's that smell? No,
I was going to ask, did it smell good? Like, were you like, apple pie is baking? Like, what your shrunken head was?
It smelled like apple cooking in your bedroom. And I've got to look on eBay and see if I can find one of those, because they're really cool. And
I'm looking forward to your live stream where there's just a bunch of apple shrunken heads behind you because you found one.
Look what I made. I had a friend of mine who's he's a physics teacher, so a really smart guy. And do you remember that game, Voice of the Mummy? You ever heard of that?
I've heard of it. I remember seeing ads for it.
Yeah, it was about the same time as Green Ghost, maybe a little bit after. But basically it was a board game that had, it had all these Egyptian motif type, like you're inside a tomb or something, right? And then in the middle of the board was this little tiny record player. And you'd put the record on there, and the mummy would speak, this haunted, and it'd tell you what to do for your turn, right? So you'd roll the dice or whatever and move here, and then you'd put on the voice of the mummy, and it would tell you what to do. Well, he found one of these, and the record player didn't work. So my friend goes in there and fixes it. I mean, are you kidding me? Who knows how to do that stuff? But he did it, and so now he has this complete working copy or board game of Voice of the Mummy, and then you can actually put the record on, and the mummy comes in and tells you,
Those are old board games are like, if you can find those complete, it's fantastic, because of course so many of them are missing pieces and things like that. Like you'd go to, like, every now and then, I'll go into a thrift store and they'll have a section will have a bunch of board games, and I'm like, I know that's half a game. Like, why would I buy that? Unless you're just looking to part out, you've got 6 of them that you've been parting out over time. try and make one complete. I had the Mad Magazine game when I was a kid, and it was like basically the anti-Monopoly.
Right.
And you'd have to draw a card of it, like, so you'd have like your money. The object was to lose your money, and so by the end, you'd be like, yeah, I'm really close to like being broke, and I'm gonna win the game. And then you draw a card that'd be like every player has to like switch seats, but you had to leave your money, so you had to go like one seat to the left. So like the person, so there was just really unpredictable as to who would win, because you could be playing the game really great, but then you draw something like that, and it's like now someone else has got your hand. I wish I could find that complete, because that would be fun to play again. Although maybe it wouldn't. Like maybe I'd play it and I'd be like, why did I ever like this? This is terrible. Sometimes you can't go home again.
So bad. Yeah, exactly. We still have a ton. What's one thing we always got board games more than action figures. We got the only action figures I remember getting when I was a kid really were, remember that superhero line that came out and they had like it was like Spider-Man, but it was a knit little Spider-Man costume that went over the body of the figure, and there was Batman and Robin. They had some DC characters and some Marvel ones, and Green Goblin and stuff. Would be like, it'd have a molded Green Goblin head, but his costume was like this little knit material thing that just went over a blank body, and it had Velcroed in the back. Those things are worth a fortune.
Are you talking about Migos, like the Migo figures?
Yeah. I think it was the Migos. Yeah, those old ones, right?
Yeah, and I think those are back now.
Yeah, they re-released them like in their original form. It's like, okay, these look horrible. The only reason I'd ever get one of these is because that was the only thing that I could have got at the time, and because now they're worth money. So, but I think it was funny that they did re-release them not too long ago. But,
they had a whole, revival of kind of like enthusiasm for those in the 90s when Wizard was doing Twisted Toy Fair Theater, because they were using the Migos for, and having ones custom made for Twisted Toy Fair Theater. I remember they did a great one where it was a flashback to the 70s and every character had an afro. Even like the Red Skull had like, had like a blonde afro, and the Lizard had an afro, even though he's still a reptile, but he still had the afro hair because it was the 70s.
All right. Now, the reason I brought this up is because I do know what these are. You used to take these clackers, right? You take these molds for just balls, right? And pardon my French. And they would pour this sort of, it wasn't resin, it was really a hard, it wasn't plastic, but it was a really hard, somewhere between plastic and glass, right? I mean, it would, and you would, they'd make the mold, and they'd pour this stuff in there hot, and then there would be a rope, right, that was tied in the middle right here. And it wasn't a string, it was heavier than that, so it wouldn't break. And they would come down and they would go into each ball, and then they would cook them or let them set, however they did it. And so that the rope then became part of the ball. And then you could do up and down like this, and they would clack back and forth like this. The balls, they would hit each other like that. And we go around making noise like that all day with these things.
And again, they were giving you resin that you had to mix the A and the B, and then it would heat up with the chemical reaction. So again, if you got that on your skin, you'd burn the hell out of yourself. The toys in the 70s were just like mind blowing. My brother and I remember one day we decided just to melt some plastic army men, and so like they were making like this, when they melt, they make this weird like zip 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 noises. They kind of like drip, and then we got the idea that like, let's fling the hot plastic at each other. And that lasted until like some hit my brother on the hand and like burned into his hand, and that was the end of that. That was the end of that game, and we were in trouble. But
sword fights with hangers that we were. It was a dangerous time back then, Aaron.
There was no Nintendo. There was nothing to like sit in front of a screen and keep your attention. So we were out there building things and making things and maiming each other.
This is my brother. He lost an arm in a game we were playing when we were 12.
My brother is I'm the oldest brother, so my brother is a mass of scars from things that we tried. Like hey, let's take all the couch cushions and put them on the floor of the living room, and then we'll have a WWF wrestling match. Of course. And and then he got suplexed and hit the cabinet and cut his leg open. And
my brother did that to me one night, because it was one of those Friday nights where, do you remember they used to have the we'd always have the Saturday morning cartoons, right? But the Friday night, they'd have a special, the preview all the new cartoons that would be premiering the next morning, right? To kind of get the kids amped up. Mm-hmm. And so we were doing this, and my parents were out to dinner or whatever, right? So we were, and wrestling, of course, was a big thing. And so we would put these pillows down, like you're saying, on the floor. And my brother was going to, he said, oh, let me try that flip that I saw this guy do, right? So he like grabs me. He's 2 years older than me. So I was a little bit younger and smaller. So he'd get his, legs up like this and get a hold of my arms and then, put the foot right in the sternum and then kind of flip you over, right? Mm-hmm. I completely missed the pillows. I was back on this hardwood floor and I'm like, I can't breathe. Everything got numb for a second. I thought, I'm paralyzed, and oh my gosh. The thing almost, yeah. Good times.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of head trauma from childhood.
Do you remember soccer boppers? Those
I remember the name. I don't think I ever had any.
They basically, here's what they were. They were balloons or like but they were heavier vinyl, right? That you blow up and put on. They were huge.
Yep, I had to have those.
And you just beat the crap out of each other. The problem was they really hurt when you got hit by them. It wasn't like a soft balloon or anything. It was.
No, because you wouldn't leave any give it. You would blow it up until it was literally as ready to burst. Like it would just feel like it was so solid. Then you just sock somebody with it, and you'd clock them good.
My brother and I were in a store, like a department store, and we were in the toy section, and we had put a couple of these on, right? Because they were just sitting there blown up, right? For any kid coming and maim themselves. And so we're duking it out, and somebody, I guess it was my mom or somebody, was walking down the end of the aisle, and she goes, "Hey, Aaron," and I turn, and it was like he had already loaded up and was going, and he literally KO'd me. I was flat on my back, laying in the aisle, like, what just happened? It was like somebody hit me with a rock.
The modern equivalent of that is probably about when the Ang Lee Hulk movie came out. They brought out those Hulk fists, and later they made fists for like the Thing for the Fantastic Four. But they still hurt. Like it's like the idea was, you're gonna punch your friend, and and it's like they still hurt. Like kids were still like clocking each other and knocking each other silly. But you know what? In retrospect, aside from what we know about concussions nowadays and the danger, it was good. It was good. You needed to get into a few fights as a kid. I think one of the big problems in comics today is too many people are writing them who have never been in a fist fight. I don't think you should be allowed to write comics unless you've been in a fist fight. I don't even think you have to have won. But you have to have at least gotten into one.
You just needed to be in one.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Whether a man, a woman.
Soccer bopper.
A great excuse to beat your siblings,
Soccer bopper. Yes, exactly. Oh, yeah, and here's a good one. Yard darts. That's safe. Oh, my gosh. Yard darts, those big, I mean, they were, oh, my gosh. It's like you look back and go, how did we survive childhood? Are you kidding me?
More than once you'd go over to a friend's house and you'd like walk around the bushes onto their front lawn, and then a dart would like, because they were playing, in the front yard. You'd be like,
stick in your leg.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure that happened. That's why they ended up getting outlawed.
Oh my gosh! But who's the genius that said, "Oh, this is a good idea. Let's give kids like these 3-pound darts that are like basically spears that they could actually kill one another if they throw them at each other."
Yeah, kids love the Jungle Cruise, right?
Yeah.
Let's give them actual spears, and we'll put the Jungle Cruise branding on it. It'll be fantastic. What could go wrong?
Oh my God. Okay, let me ask you about one more thing here, and then we'll think about wrapping up. But I still have my Bucky O'Hare toys. Now, I bought these from Target when Josh was little, and they were like blowing them out for like $1.99, right? So I got all the Bucky O'Hare toys, but then they had that really big Bucky O'Hare spaceship, right? That you could put the figures in, and we had that at one time, and I don't know why we don't anymore, because I still have the figures, but I don't have the ship. So I don't know, maybe it's buried in the garage. But did these things ever find any value, or you could still get these for like $2?
No, you can still on the card. They go for 20 or more, depending on the character and the rarity and the demand. I think what's it? Alligator? Is that one of the characters?
Yeah, Alligator or what?
Yeah, or some variation thereof. He's like a purple and green. Like I can picture him perfectly, but his name's escaping me right now. Yeah. I think last time I saw him, he was going for like $50. But the interesting thing is, Boss Fight Studios just re-released a bunch of Bucky O'Hare toys. Like the sculpts look the same. They look just like that great artwork, and they're posable. Much more posable. They have a lot of more points of articulation and come with some accessories. So yeah, I picked up all those too because I couldn't. Boss Fight's done a couple of great things that I love. They did the Bucky O'Hare figures, although they haven't completed the line. So I'm still hopeful to get like Willie DeWitt and the Alligator and Al Negator. That's his name. Al Negator. Yeah, a little more sci-fi. So I'm still hoping to get those. But they made figures from Sam and Max, Steve Purcell's comic book, which is a couple of video games that people might remember. And that more than anything, even more than like Darkwing Duck as a cartoon being an influence on kind of like the way that I write comedy for those sorts of properties, Sam and Max is probably like the #1 influence on my humor. So when Boss Fight released those really posable figures of them, I was like, man, I got to get these. And I'm hoping that we get some more because it's just your standard Sam and Max, but there were some other characters and some other costumes you could put Sam and Max in that I think would be fun. So yeah, I love this stuff.
There's a lot of really cool properties out there that just never got made into toys that would have been fantastic, like action figures or whatever. But as Ethan Van Sciver's finding out, doing his own Cyber Frog, I'm sure you've took note of that. His Cyber Frog action figure campaign that he has going right now.
I wanted to order some, but there wasn't like a wholesale option where you could order like so many cases and they're like a price break because I wanted to carry those, but like I said, there wasn't a price break on them, so the boss man was kind of like, nah, no, we're not going to do it.
Well, it just goes to show you, my point being that how expensive those things are to make, because he's like basically raised $500,000 and that just pretty much pays for the toys, And it's like everybody's like, oh, make toys. And it's an expensive proposition.
The tooling alone is crazy expensive. They have to make these big, solid, like steel, metal, and then I say metal, redundant. But they have to make these big metal molds. And that's probably like your biggest upfront expense. So that's why you see guys like Four Horsemen Studios who do the Mythic Legions line, which is one of my favorites. And they just announced Cosmic Legions. So they're doing like some space themed ones. But they use a lot of they create a lot of reusable parts. So and their stuff's all modular, so you can switch it around. So as a collector, if you want, you can take the figures apart and then rebuild them with other characters and make your own characters. But it also gives them the option of, we're going to use these biceps on this guy, and then they're going to get reused on this guy, but this guy's going to have different legs, which will go on this third guy. That's really the way to approach it. So if Ethan is looking on doing, continuing lines of figures, it's probably something that he wants to look into.
Well, there you go. Aaron, it says, tell Aaron Sparrow EVS will do bulk orders privately. So there you go.
I think that I knew that, but I don't know if there's a price break. I'll find out. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay, how about this question? Paul wants to know: has 3D printing brought the entrance into the market down?
Oh, absolutely.
I assume maybe the cost, letting more.
Well, it's not brought the cost down of actual production of toys in the mainstream, but it's given regular people more access to making things that they want, that maybe a company's never going to make, or that is a more obscure thing. You just want to make one for yourself and maybe a couple of your friends. It's definitely brought the bar down on doing that. Oh, I think Aaron, you froze on my screen.
Right, you were pixelating. I don't know if that was my fault or, but basically you're saying that it lowered the cost for a private person to go in and kind of custom make an action figure, but it doesn't necessarily lower the price for manufacturing. Large scale.
Yeah, large scale. Like it's still your costs are just going up and up, and of course now with now that we've hit a point where oil is going back up, so.
Prototyping and getting ideas out. In other words, makes it a little easier for you to prototype something and give it to a. Yes, I would, because you're not then. You're doing your modeling on computer, and then you're just shooting it over to the 3D modeler to print it out, as opposed to hiring a sculptor to go in and do a sculpt for you, and then doing a prototype, right? So I mean, from that aspect,
I mean, you can still hire a sculptor, but there's guys out there that are doing it freelance, and you can actually get a pretty reasonable rate. But I have guys who come in, they'll like look at the custom heads that we're doing, and I'll get a message, and they're like, well, what would it cost to commission like me? Like everybody wants to make an action figure of themselves, which is kind of like weird to me. Like it always like throws me off. I'm like, what? I mean, okay, but they're like, what would it cost to make one of me? And I said, well, I can't sell a sculpt of you, so it's basically just a one-off. So it's going to be like several $100s to do the 3D modeling, and then that usually is like, oh, because they think you can just do it for like $12.
Yeah. And make it look just like me.
Yeah, make it look just like me, and I'd like a variety of expressions. And then, can you do my girlfriend?
I want interchangeable ads. My hair looks different from things. So.
There's a variety of photos of me throughout the years. I'd like to really capture each era of me.
Yeah, it's like the 5 ages of Aaron. This is when I was in grade school, and here I'm in high school, and of course, I was a swinger in my 20s. I just wanted to. Of course, you'd have to have different bodies too, because as you get older, you're starting to get, heavier and lumpier and not quite as, wonderful in your physique as you were in your younger days. But
I'm determined to get better. In a year when we do we'll do another stream, and we'll see if I've accomplished that.
If we've improved, I don't know. I keep looking in the mirror, going, "Yeah, I'm 18." I look in the mirror and go, "Who's that guy?" I'm like,
I don't know why. When I turn the lights on, like I was using natural light because I didn't want to set up the studio lights and everything. But I turned like the lamp on, and all of a sudden, it, on the screen, it goes to like this like yellow, like murder hotel kind of lighting.
Well, I got a backlit light you, so that you're totally in shadow. And
yeah, I'm like doing one of those things where I'm like,
garble your voice and everything. So
yeah, I saw the whole thing.
Hey, Shelley, we're going to wrap up in a minute, so if you want to come in and help me close the show out. Hey, so let me ask you real quick. You said you go. How often do you go to these toy shows?
Oh, I'm selling at the Frank and Son show 2 days a week, so Wednesdays and Saturdays. It's a big toy show here in Southern California. It's in like the City of Industry. Unfortunately, it's in LA County, so we're getting a lot of those really like stupid restrictive COVID rules. So you have to be masked to be indoors, and I'm sure pretty soon like you're going to have to like give some of your DNA, or they're going to ask for that nonsense. But it's a huge toy show, and there's a bunch of different vendors there, and it's open 3 days a week. So it's like a con that's open 3 days a week. And during COVID, and like the lockdowns here, it was really the only game in town. So, there's a lot of dealers there with a lot of variety of stuff. There's guys that have vintage stuff. There's guys that carry new stuff. I sell like the custom heads there. So if, you want to come and get them cheap and not have them shipped to you, but just like be able to just pick out what you want, you can come down there and get them. And then, so it's an absolute blast. I love it. And that's probably not helping my addiction either.
No. Well,
the first step is admitting it, though.
Yeah, admitting you've got a problem. Oh.
Yeah, but then admitting that I'm not going to do a damn thing about it. I'm just going to keep going.
I admit it. That's as far as it goes. I'm good.
So, okay. Well, next time you go, be looking for Star Trek ships for me, and
Star Trek what?
Star Trek ships.
Okay.
I want to get a.
Different. By the time I went to here, I was like, "Oh no!"
Aaron, I was an odd request, but I found what you're looking for. This is from William Shatner after a sushi dinner.
Is it signed?
Oh,
it is, and it's cataloged because he's gone full Howard Hughes. So he's got the date and the time, and
oh my gosh, ew.
So you came just, it was all innocent until now, Shelley. You came back in for the dark.
You know what? I bring it. I have to add a little saucy to it.
You know what actually I need that I can't find is I've got the Hulk, Planet Hulk, Silver Surfer or Silver Savage diorama from Sideshow.
And, that's a nice one.
the helmet popped off and it's gone. I don't know where it's at, and I lost it. I think it probably popped off, fell down off the bookshelf into the recycle without me knowing it, and then I probably threw the recycle out. But I can't find a helmet anywhere, and Sideshow says it's too old. They don't have. I know. So, like, what are the chances of me finding? Oh, here, I just happen to have a helmet. You want to buy that for $20 or whatever?
Does John?
If you do see a helmet, Aaron.
Does John have it? Does he have the statue?
I don't know, but why would he give me his helmet?
Well, he
needed for his statue.
I could borrow it and I could cast it, and then I could give you a repro.
Oh. I'm going to ask John Smith if he has that.
There is a good question on the chat, though, Aaron. Could you make a Shelley Showtime action figure? That would be neat.
I mean, sure. I can customize pretty much anything. It's
the hair from the other guy, the
Rogue.
No, well, I have the gray hair, but no, the long hair.
Oh, from Cyclops.
Yeah, can use that hair.
Yeah, because I'm gonna replace that head anyway, so that'll the long Cyclops hair.
Oh man.
Hang on a second, Aaron. I have to dole out some discipline to the chat. You have to excuse me for a minute here.
Jeffrey.
Gave him three.
Yeah, it was make a Wolfman for Aaron.
Because
there's a great Wolfman figure coming out from NECA soon. NECA's doing the Universal Monsters, like I said. Jada Toys is also doing them, but it just depends on like what scale you like better. So if you want it to fit in with like existing 6-inch action figures, NECA tends to be like 7-inch. But yeah, Aaron, look them up. They so far they've announced Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, and the werewolf. So those are the three that they've announced so far. Okay. And they look great.
Casting, like obviously you have to take off the head. Does it like you can't put that head back on?
No. So like what you do is you take the piece. Like let's say, just grab an example here. Let's say I want to make a duplicate of Colossus's head.
Yeah.
So what you do is you make yourself a mold. You get some clay. You put it in there. You put it in so that half of his, you position it in such a way. You decide where you want your mold lines and things like that. Usually, it's best to do them along the existing edges of the figure where they're not going to be seen, like the undersides and things like that. Plus, then you'll actually get the mold to go in there, and so you'll still have the neck post available. A lot of guys don't do it that way, and then they're like, "Oh, you have to Dremel it out," and it's like people hate that. So you want to do it in such a way that it's pretty much an exact duplicate. So once you have it in the clay, then you pour the top half of the mold. You mix your silicone and you pour it in, and then you let that cure for like 24 hours. Then you flip it, you take it off, you take the clay off, and now you have half a mold, and you've got the other side of the figure. Then you dust it so that the silicone separates. And then you pour the silicone for the second half of the mold, and then you've got a nice little push mold.
But when you take apart your figure, I think that's probably what he was getting at, right? Was when your original figure you're going to use, do the heads come off those? Can you take the limbs off without ruining the figure, without breaking them, and have them snap back on? I mean,
there's a technique called boil and pop. So so even if they've got like a neck post and they're not meant to come off, you can usually just stick your figure in some, boil some water in a cup, just put a cup in the microwave for 2 minutes. By the way, disclaimer, please do this with adult supervision. I am not liable for any injuries that you have while doing this, or making creepy crawlers if you go and search that out on eBay now that we've talked about it. But you just heat it up. You can also use a blow dryer so that the plastic softens up. Then you can usually pop the heads off. You can even, like, sometimes, depending on the construction of the figure, you can pop the arms out. You can, take them apart all sorts of different ways. And then, that's basically what customizers do. And there's a lot of action figure customizing tutorials on eBay you can look up too if you're interested in getting into it.
Cool. How about that? There was another one. Go back up. This is awesome. This one.
Yeah. Right here?
No, this one below.
New meaning to the Captain Claude.
Oh, that's a good one. That's awesome.
Okay, we got the Captain. Okay, old man is really getting on my case about
Well, you know, we've had that for a little while, so maybe we need to get a new one.
That's what someone else is suggesting. Get a better router because
can you just run a hard line from your router upstairs? Like,
it's the farthest point. Like,
I mean, I could run a hard line and
downstairs at the other end.
Grandma
of the house.
would trip over it and fall down the stairs and kill herself and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
but
so we got the booster thing, and it's at the top of the stairs. They said to try to put it halfway. So, yeah, but I just maybe because I think you have to do it like where the TV cable, right? Why can't they do it up here on yours up here?
I don't know, but they were telling me that when we switched services, they had it's not wired for that, so we have to run it through your entire house. It'll cost you $6 million. I was like, no.
Yeah,
no
we would need more than 20-foot Ethernet cable. It would. Yeah, I mean, like.
Yeah,
it's the farthest point from his studio, diagonal downstairs.
Yeah,
that's weird because it's like usually they just come in and they go, "All right, where do you want the right? You know, like where do you want it?" Right. And then they drill a hole in your wall and run the cable through it, and then put the little plastic thing on that seals
Our cell phones don't even work half the time in certain spots in the house,
which never happened before. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
we have some weird alien thing.
It's the apocalypse.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
End times.
Anyway,
when your Wi-Fi doesn't work, damn it.
Anyway, we'll try and address this, you guys, so that we can get this taken care of. But anyway, Aaron,
and Aaron,
thank you so much for joining us and talking toys. This has been fun. I really enjoyed it.
It's nice hearing your voice again.
Yeah, we don't.
Anytime I haven't seen you guys in years, like since the last Comic-Con.
Which was it's been years.
It's my last birthday.
Yeah. So
we did down there.
Anyway, again, thank you for joining us, and people in the chat, thank you.
Oh, you
Brohawk
totally
Williams
sign
is
off
there
because we have some questions.
What?
Don't sign off totally.
Why?
Because I have some things I need to say. Don't question me.
All right. So what are you doing? I don't understand what you're doing.
You're saying bye to Aaron.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do.
I see. I'm gonna kick Aaron out and then answer some questions and then end it.
I would draw him a picture, but I got.
Yeah, I'm really dark and shadowy and spooky. So yeah, I'm gonna bail out.
Thank you very much.
Right,
thanks for the chat. Nice talking to you guys.
Yep.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
So hi, Dave. He said, "Hey, Shelley." Now we do have it is a wireless booster plugged in at the top of the stairs, and so yeah. So maybe I need to look for a better. I mean, we just got. I don't even know who we have our internet through now. It's Ziply.
Ziply, who bought somebody else, but they told me they use a different. Like the wiring that's in our house that Comcast was using is different than what they use. So therefore, they couldn't use the same thing. We have to install all new crap, which I was not going to do.
We need to get rid of them then. I don't want to go back to Comcast, but
there's not a lot of choices. All of them suck. No,
we don't even watch regular TV. We could do this later, but let's see. You'll have to look into a new router and see what.
I will.
These adapters run internet over your power lines. Nope, no lead paint. It's a newer house. Let's see. A mesh network. What? You guys are just way smarter than we are. Yeah, it's been fun stream. Yeah. Now, Aaron Sparrow is he's so great.
I've known him for 25 years at least, maybe more.
Typically San Diego's fall on my birthday, and so we always have a birthday dinner, and his birthday is the next day, and so we kind of celebrate together and just love him.
And he always can get me a good toy, and you can't overlook that. He has such
a good sense of humor, and he thinks you're funny, and that's great. Okay. Sorry, I went and laid down. I had to take a pain pill. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for what's your book again? Oh yeah, Wraith of God. Thank you for supporting that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for that. That pushed it up as high as it has. It's just incredible. If you haven't backed it or checked it out yet, please check out the descriptions in the link or in the description of the video.
Now I have a question for you. So they might too. A friend at work backed it. Said he thinks his boys will look forward to reading it. Awesome. So what ages are we looking at?
Somebody just contacted me about that, and I honestly think it would be Comics Code approved if they still did that. I mean, there is violence in it, you know, guy gets shot in the head and things like that.
But the way you draw it, it isn't like
it's not horrific. You know, it's not like there's brain matter flying all over the place. I think when I was 12, I'd have been fine with it, but. You know, I always like to caution people because I don't want them to read it and go, I gave this to my kid and he had nightmares. I'm like, sorry.
Well, it's also one of the Bible teachers. So I had to check. Like, oops, there. Yeah, we can't wait for it either. It's going to be just awesome. And we've just been so overwhelmed with all of the support and feel like we have this humongous, big group of friends. We don't know what you look like most of the time, but
it's probably good.
Awesome.
It's probably safer that way, right, Jeff? Right, Jeff Potts. I can't imagine what Jeff Potts looks like. I don't even want to think about it.
Oh, if he only had a cannon.
If only he had a cannonball, but he doesn't.
Yeah. So
actually, I do on the retro cover. I do have you can't use the Comics Code Authority stamps because Hero Initiative, I think, owns it, and so they could technically sue me if I use the actual. So I did an altered one for the retro cover, 70s cover that I did. So anyway.
Jeffrey, that's what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so he says. Boo!
Oh, man.
Are you crazy? Is that your problem?
Oh, you guys are so funny.
And as David Williams liked to say, always bet on black. So
David!
All right, you guys. Thanks so much. And might show up during the week sometime. And if not,
I'm sure tomorrow.
We'll definitely see you next Sunday, if not before then. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you.